Hello, I'm going to be showing you how to graph a line from a slope-intercept form equation and how to find the slope from a slope-intercept form equation. And the first thing we should start off with is knowing what a slope-intercept form equation is. So an example of one would be y equals mx plus b. So that is what a slope-intercept equation is. And so to fill in a few numbers, it could be, I don't know, y equals 4x plus b. It could be something like that. And so basically what is going on here is the b is the y-intercept, and that will be anywhere on the any point on the y-axis where it crosses the y-axis. So if a line goes through here like that, then the b would be right here because that's where it crosses the y-axis. Now the x, or the 4 rather, is the slope, and the slope is either the change in y over the change in x, or it is also known as rise over run. And the slope of how to find the slope of this line would be however many points it goes up and over, like that. But we'll get to that in the later versions. And the y and the x are simply points on the line. They're just any coordinate pairs that are on the line. And now that we know what that is, let's move on to the next step. Okay, so now we're going to graph a line from a slope-intercept form equation. And to start things off, what I'm going to do is write down a slope-intercept form equation. Now, I'm going to use y equals 4x plus 2. That will be our equation that we're trying to graph a line from. So what I showed you before is that this is the slope, and this is the y-intercept. So if we just make a quick graph, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just doing something quick. So if we just do some lines, and all we need is the slope and the y-intercept. We do not need the y or the x for this. So let's start with the y-intercept. That is where it crosses the y-axis. So basically, since it's 2, you know that it crosses on 2, 1, 2. So that is 1 point on our line. The second point is going to come from this, the 4. Now, you wouldn't just go 4. The way you figure this out is what you have to realize is that 4 is the same as 4 over 1. And that is because 1 goes into 4 4 times, making that 4. So the slope is equal to 4 over 1, and we know that slope is rise over run, and if we plug that in, that's a 4 rise and a run of 1. So basically, what's going to happen is when we go here, we're going to go up 4 from this point, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to go over the run, we're going to run over 1, which is going to be here. So this is not an actual point anymore, so we can get rid of that. So we realize that this is 1 point. Now, we know 4 over 1 is the slope, and we went 4 over 1. We could go up 4 and over 1 again, but we can also go down 4 and across 1. Negative 4 over negative 1. And that is because a negative divided by a negative is going to be a negative. So that equals that. So then we can go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not a real point, but that's just to show you the slope. And then we're going to go negative 1 to here. So now we know that our line, goes like that. And that is our line using the slope. So we could go 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, and the same ways here, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. And that is how to find a line from slope-intercept form equation. Okay, so now we're going to find the slope-intercept form equation from a line. So I already drew out a line on a coordinate plane, and to find the slope-intercept form equation, we're going to basically have to fill out this equation, y equals mx plus b. And if you remember, b is where it crosses the line. Now, because my graph was not perfect, it kind of did not go through 0, but let's just assume that it did. So we know that b is the y-intercept. So we already know that since it crosses here on the y-axis, that we are adding 0 because b is the y-intercept, and the y-intercept in this line is 0. So now we have to find the slope. Okay, so let's find the slope. So we can basically go from this point here and go to here. And remember, it's either the change in y over the change in x or rise over run. So I'm going to do rise over run. So we go up 1, 2, 3 rise, and then we are going 1, 2 run. So our slope in this case is 3 over 2. Then we can just finish that. So our equation now is y equals 3 over 2x plus 0.